Hello everyone and welcome back to Super Medico. I am George and I'm a final year medical student. And today here we have with us a very special guest for this interview. The biggest dream of every MBBS student after completing MBBS is to get a PG seat in a very good medical college. And usually students have to repeat and wait a year to get seats. And it's even more special if you are able to crack it in the first attempt itself. That means after internship. And when we say this to people, they tell that either you have to sacrifice your clinical things and focus on entrances because both together are not possible. But today here we have a person who did internship in a very hectic government hospital and was able to crack entrances in his first attempt. Today here we have Dr. Midun Krishna, who's from JIPMER, who got rank 640 in the first INICT he wrote in November 2020 while doing house surgency, and now in the July 2021 INICT he has got an all India rank of 93. A very hearty welcome, Dr. Midun Krishna, to our interview.
Thank you, Dr. George. Thank you for inviting me to this session. I hope everyone can enjoy it. And I hope I can share what I did through my MBBS years as well as after that to get the rank which I got. So I hope everyone can benefit from it. Thank you.
That's awesome. So how do you feel now? So you might be really happy and how you're celebrating.
Yes. The thing is, the most important, biggest feeling right now is relief that it's over now, the whole entrance exam saga, because no matter how much you prepare, there are so many things that are outside your control, so many things that can go wrong on the day of the exam. So it's a very nervous situation for you, regardless of how much you have prepared. So I'm relieved that it's over and I'll be moving forward in my career from now.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. So for all our interviews, we start with an icebreaker question. So I want you to recommend a favorite movie, or it can be a TV series or a book to all of our audience, something which you want them to check out.
Many of you would have already watched the movie Virus. I particularly liked it because it kind of matches what we actually do in the hospital. So we will be able to relate to it a lot more than someone else. So for a medico, I would definitely recommend that movie. If you're not from Kerala, you can definitely watch it with subtitles because you'll be able to relate to whatever that's going on.
Yeah, so I guess we have got a lot of questions from students across India, and I've just curated them, to the best ones, and we'll be posing them to you today. So I'm going to start with my first question. See, many people nowadays are looking to UK, USA, and other countries with rising incidents of violence against doctors and working conditions. What made you choose to do your PG in India? So, what was your inspiration? What made you make that decision?
The thing is, in spite of everything, home is home. So when you go to a foreign place like US or UK, it's one thing is the expense that is involved, and one thing is I am more of a homesick person, so staying away from home for a very long time is not that ideal for me. So I would rather prefer to do it in India unless it's a last resort. Like no matter how much I try, if I don't manage to get a good seat in India and I'm forced to go abroad, then in that case I'll do that. But otherwise, home is always home, and that would be better for me. And eventually, I plan to settle down in India only. So while doing post graduation, it's best to get a whole overview of the Indian scenario, like what is common in India. So getting exposure to that is more important. That's what I felt.
Yeah, you're right.
When you go abroad, you will get better pay and better work-life balance. But more important that in the long term, I think having some good experience with Indian patients in the Indian scenario, if you are planning to settle down in India, I feel that was more important.
Yeah, it means like if you're planning to work in India, it's better to get your PG over here. If you're planning to go abroad, it's better to get your PG abroad, right?
That was my thing. May not be, some people may not be able to cope up with the heavy loads that we have in the hospitals or the kind of violence which you had mentioned that we are at risk of facing. So each one can consider each each and every point and then make a decision about that.
Okay. So how were you as an MBBS student? Were you getting distinctions or were you a batch topper throughout? That's a very common question I got.
I would say I was kind of above average. I was not among the toppers and not average or a bad student as well. And one more thing is, I had more of a craving for knowledge than for marks in exams. So there are students who will like make very beautiful notes, very beautiful diagrams, and then revise them before exams, and all of that will ensure a very good top score for them. But I was not very keen on that. I was keen on more on reading books and gaining more knowledge in the first place. And when the exam approaches, I might do something very specific to get marks in the exams, like using those short, smaller books and making notes. But when the exams are not near, I'm a little bit more relaxed and I'll just see what are the options available to me, what are the books available, which is the best one out of these. And I relied more on standard textbooks.
Now my question is, during the first 4 years of MBBS, did you do any sort of things related to entrances, watching videos, making notes, or were all your preparation after from internship onwards would be?
See, each year, regardless of the year, first year, second year, third year, or fourth year, what I focused on was, for example, if I'm in second year, my entire focus was gain a sound knowledge on all those four subjects, that is pathology, microbiology, pharm. So regardless of the year, this was my focus. What are the subjects in that year? I should learn them thoroughly and gain some sound knowledge which I can carry forward to the later years. I didn't do any hardcore entrance preparation as such. In second year, I did attend a few DAMS classes, but I felt that was more of a little half-hearted, and I was taking down notes, but I didn't come back and read them again or revise them. So I stopped that thing in second year. In third year, I didn't go for any DAMS classes. So I felt whenever I got free time, maybe spending that time with the standard books or in the clinics would be a better option than go. That would make more of an impact than going to an entrance class half-heartedly. Yes, I did subscribe to Marrow towards the end of my third year, but I didn't use it much till my internship had started. The time that I used Marrow was when I was not confident of some topic, or when I felt something was lacking when I read the books or from my college lecture classes. So at that time, I would open Marrow, see what is given in that, and then I was not much of a notes maker at that time. So only when I felt it needed, I made those notes. So it was not hardcore entrance preparation till I reached my internship. Once internship started, obviously I didn't have the time to read any standard textbooks. So the first 8 months of my internship was very hectic, to be honest. I had all the core clinical postings, medicine, surgery, obs, gynae, and pediatrics. That was what my first 8 months was. So end of my day, I'll be reaching anywhere between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. on post duty days. That would be even more tiring. You'll just want to sleep off. And so the only thing I did in the first 8 months is whatever cases I saw in casualty or were admitted to the ward, I used to read about them, because practically only that much was humanly possible for me. So I didn't make that many notes and started hardcore in the entrance preparation in my first 8 months. So after that, I had a lot of free time. I had my PhD postings. I had my lighter postings like physiotherapy, ortho, and skin and all those stuff. So it was in that time I actually started thinking about the entrance exam, and I started covering the subjects in a more comprehensive way so that I can do well in the entrance exam. But again, as most people would have in their UG days, I was not very confident about my knowledge in subjects like psychiatry, radiology, dermat, and all, because that's not covered in that great detail in your MBBS years. So my thing was, I am not going to learn anything new. Whatever I had learned before, I would consolidate that, because I only had time for that till November. So I just revised those second year and first year subjects again. Final year was relatively fresh for me, so I didn't look into that. So that was what I went with for the November exam.
Okay.
So that was how I prepared till the end of my internship. And post internship, of course, I started proper entrance preparation. I studied all the subjects, revised them, solved MCQs, and then went into for the July exam.
How did you get motivated during internship? Like, majority of the students would be like, spending that remaining amount of time that they get of work in watching movies or having fun than, doing actual work for entrances. Were your batchmates like that, or did you have,
I did the same.
yeah, did you have any friends or something who like motivated you to study, that fired you up? Like, how did you find the motivation amidst all of this? It's tough, I know, that's right.
See, as I said, first 8 months, nothing. I was not thinking about the entrance in the first 8 months. For me, always the first priority was internship because it's something you won't get again. But entrance, if you don't clear it this time, you can do it next time. So in the first 8 months, I wanted to make the most out of my internship, see all the cases, manage them, be an active member in the management of all the cases which I saw, and that would be helpful not only for your career but in even in the entrance exam itself, because if you see a case like intestinal obstruction or an appendicitis or a peritonitis in your casualty and you have been a part of managing that patient, you will remember it for a lifetime. Like if you read the same from a book, you will need multiple revisions so that the information stays in your mind. But once you have been an active part of managing that case, you won't forget that. So whenever a question comes up, whatever thing they ask regarding the clinical management of such a case, you will be able to confidently answer it because you have seen it live and you have done it actively. So, and of course, I too went for movies. I didn't go because it was the COVID year, all the theaters were shut. So we actually didn't have the opportunity to go out and enjoy that much. Our internship year was a peculiar year in that sense, but still I did enjoy with my friends within the limits that COVID has set for us, within hostels, and once a week or so we would go to say beach or somewhere we can enjoy some fresh air. So that was the thing. So only after 8 months when the others also started thinking about entrance, so I also started going in that line. And the other thing you asked was where the others preparing for entrance. Not everyone, yes, but yes, there were a few in within my batch who actually cleared it in November itself and got themselves a seat in JIPMER itself.
So how long or hectic were your postings at JIPMER? Like, what was your usual timetable daily and how many hours did you get to study during your internship?
Yes, it depends on where you are posted at. See, medicine, surgery, and obs gynae are almost equal when you see the work hours. You will have a duty day which where you admit your patients. That is the admission day. So that day will be hectic, and the next day you will have to work up all the patients who are admitted. So that will be another hectic day. So sometimes you will be working at 24 or 36 hours a stretch, and after that you it's humanly not possible to go back and study anything. So I just go back and get some much needed sleep or food or whatever I felt I was physiologically lacking. So I'd go and my physiological needs would be satisfied first. And after that, sometimes I might be called back to the hospital. Then I'll have to go back. And if I get some free time, I was not keen on the entrances in the first 8 months because I know just some intermittent reading here and there is not going to do the job. So I was more relaxed, and after I came back from duty, I would obviously satisfy my physiological needs first, and after that, if I am still free and if friends are around, obviously I would enjoy for some time with them, and if they are also on duty and they are not around, then I'll go back and read something, which is mostly restricted to the posting which I am posted at, the cases which I have seen on that day. I'd read up something regarding that. Sometimes we are given homeworks or like we'll be given presentations to present in front of them. So I'd be preparing for that. So those were the things which I did in the first 8 months. So after that, I would come back, then maybe watch a few Marrow videos, do MCQs, and consolidate on the first year and second year subject. That was the only thing which I did in the time before November in came.
Okay, so this is a very common question that I got. Which source did you use? There are many things. What did you use actually? Single source, multiple source, classes?
I would say Marrow, and 99% of my preparation was from Marrow. And I told you I had gone to dance classes in second year, in my fourth and fifth semester. But see, I felt that was a little half-hearted, and I stopped it then and there. And I subscribed to Marrow towards the end of my third year, and till my internship started, I didn't use it much. I was more restricted to my books and my theory lectures and practical classes which I had in college. So after internship, I didn't have much time to read the books, so I started using Marrow more, especially after when I got more free time after the major postings got over. So I was kind of selective in because it was not possible for me to watch all the videos and make notes from everything. That was not humanly possible. So in videos, I was very selective. And in the question bank, I had finished almost 80 to 85% of that question. Their question bank is one of the best, I feel. Nobody gives better quality questions and better interface than that. And the explanations are also good to the point. So I had in these 6 months from Jan 2021 to July, I had finished almost 80 to 85% of the question bank. I feel that was the most important part of my preparation, where I got more practice, and that's the place where you become more confident in solving MCQs. And of course, I did give tests every 2 to 3 weeks. Less frequent early on, but as towards May, June, July, I started giving them more frequently. As I completed more revisions, I was more confident about myself. I started giving more tests. Here and there, I would watch a few videos of Dr. Anjit. If any of you know Dr. Anjit of pathology, he was actually a resident in JIPMER. Then he did his senior residency before he left. Now he's in entrance coaching. I knew he was very good, so just for watching his videos, if it's available on YouTube or some app or anywhere, if it's available for free, I would watch.
So you told you were pretty selective about the videos. So how did you select what you wanted to see?
Yes. So I believe everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. So you have to trust yourself on your strengths. That's the most important thing. If you feel you're confident, you're strong at some subjects, it's not much needed that you again watch the videos, make notes. You can just trust yourself, go for the exam. The chances are very high that if a question comes from that, you will be able to solve it without much difficulty. So especially in the early days, in the initial days, completely focus on your weak areas so that they are not weaknesses for you anymore. So that's what I did. In the early months, I finished all the backlogs like psychiatry, dermat, radio, and ortho. Those were my weak subjects. ENT, Ophthalm, PSM. The third year subjects where I didn't study much during my third year, let me be honest. Third year was more of an enjoyment time. So I wanted to finish that backlog as well. So once I had covered once everyone you have covered on your weak areas, if you have time, you can maybe fine tune on your strong areas as well. But if you don't have time, finishing your weak areas itself will boost up your rank a lot. That's what I felt after I sequentially gave tests once I finished all those, because those were the subjects where I was clearly losing marks. So once I finished all those subjects, I didn't lose that many marks over there. And for me, my strong subjects were medicine, pathology, microbiology. I did my second year with a lot of dedication. So those subjects were kind of strong for me. So even towards in the beginning of my preparation in Jan, they never lost that many marks in path or pharm or medicine, to be honest. So the marks I got in these subjects were almost the same whether in Jan or in June, July. So when I completely did my weak subjects, that was when I found that my score was improving and my ranks were improving. So that's the more important thing. Finish up your weak areas first, and then if you have time, you can go to your strong areas.
What the strategy you followed was during internship for your first attempt, you focused on your strong areas because you didn't have much time. And following that, post internship, since you had a lot of time, you used it to complete your weak areas.
During internship, that was what I did.
So during internship, you had only like 4 months with you. So Did you do any videos or doing question bank or test series, or was it only revising the notes or stuff you had made over the years?
First year and second year were kind of relatively strong for me. That was what I did during those post the 8 months of my internship. So that was the only thing. So I never felt like watching all the videos because most of it I would already know, because I felt using the same books which I had read during my first and second year, that would be better for me. I am familiar with those books. I had underlined everything. So I felt I would be able to do it more faster. In the videos, if I had started watching, then most of it will be things which I already know. So I have to just skip those parts and then find the part where I actually need. So that was kind of I felt it was not needed. I didn't watch any pathology or microbiology. I just I Robbins was something which I very aggressively tried to read during my second year. So I went back to the same book and I just kept brushing through whatever was there. So most of it you would already know. You would have seen those things in your internship. So there's no need to read it again. So whatever I'm lacking, I just read through that, and then same. I did the same with microbiology, pharmacology, anatomy, physiology as well. I didn't read everything. Whatever I didn't have much of an idea about, I would either read from the book or from the videos.
You did any question bank during that 4 months test?
Yeah. Yes, of course. It was more of question bank focused those 4 months, not much of reading focus. So I wanted to like tune myself into the tone of the exam, get more match fit, you can say. So practicing MCQs was the more important thing at that time. So those first year and second year subjects, what I did was I tried to finish all the QBank modules during that time. So that was more than doing all the videos, doing everything from the books. The first priority for me was complete those modules.
Okay.
So that was very important for me. So because when you sit in front of the real exam, when similar MCQs come, you will be able to mark very fast.
So what were the things you realized from your first attempt, your first INICT attempt last year? What were the mistakes that you understood which helped you in the later phase of your preparation?
Okay, so I got a rank of 640 in my first INICET. So I wasn't expecting much out of that exam because I know my preparation was very limited to my strong areas, and the first, second, and final year subjects I was relatively fresh. I knew I had a lot of weak areas. I won't be securing a very good rank, and I got a rank of 640. This was not obviously not enough for getting the choice. But I didn't have that much of, because that was what I wanted to do. That was the only thing I expected out of that exam. Do my internship properly, make the most out of internship, and do as much as you can in that exam. Even if you don't clear it in your first go, you don't get the subject of your choice. I was satisfied with that. I won't be very disappointed on that I didn't get, because I was very much okay with having one more attempt, doing all the subjects, and then going about it. So mistakes in the sense, I can't talk much about that because I didn't have any regrets at that time. So if someone is really focusing on clearing it in the first time, you want to get into PG soon after your internship in top branch like radio, medicine, or pediatrics for that matter, then I would suggest you have to find as much as possible free time from your internship without sacrificing on your internship. That is more important, because that is something you won't get again. So whatever time you get, try focusing on your weak areas more. What I did in these last 6 months, you have to do in your internship itself. Mm-hmm. So trust yourself on your strong areas, do your weak areas, and maybe you will get a better rank than what I did in the November exam. So the important thing is finish all your weak subjects, make notes if you can. If you are not comfortable making your own notes, you can purchase the notes, and then do some at least 75 to 80% of the question bank, and give tests to assess where you are. And I think you can get a much better rank than what I did. There are people from my own batch who got a better rank, who got their subject of their choice.
So, there is so much to study, so much to remember, and how are you able to remember this huge chunk of topics for the exam day? On a single exam day, you have to know all this stuff together, right? So, how do you go about that? Any tips about it?
So the key is revision and revision only. So it doesn't matter how much you have read. You might have read everything that is there in this world, but still, doesn't matter how much strong your memory is, you will forget. You will forget stuff because even in your internship, even if you are working in a high load hospital, it's not possible to see every single case that is there on planet Earth. So a lot of things you the only source of your knowledge will be your books or your videos or whatever it is. So when you're reading of books or videos, you are bound to forget because you are not seeing them in real life. So the key to those areas is revision. So I would say 2 revisions is minimum, 3 revisions is ideal. So once you revise more and more, you will see that your rank improving in the test you are giving, and you will retain the stuff much better. Once you do it again and again, then your brain will realize that this thing is important. I shouldn't lose this thing. It will store it in your long-term memory, and it's not possible to remember everything.
Yeah.
Even the toppers themselves, rank 1 to rank 10 or 50, they are not going to remember everything. So what matters on the day of your exam is your maths fitness. How many tests you are given, how much MCQs, how many revisions you have done, how much MCQs you have practiced. So everybody is going to forget stuff, but in the end, you will remember all the basics, and the rest is just luck.
How did you go about revision? Was it reading notes?
Yes, I had made my own notes for most of the subjects. Starting this January, I started making my own notes, but towards the end of March, I was running out of time. At that time, the date of NEET PG was still April 18th. So I felt I was running out of time. So I bought the Marrow notes to finish off the rest of the subjects in as quick time as possible. And then obviously all the exams got postponed, but the bottom line is that if you have time, you can make your own notes. Your own notes are any day better than someone else's notes. So that's what I believed in. I wrote my own notes as much as possible, and I tried to revise from them. But in the end, when I was cramped for time, I went for the last resort, that is someone else's note. It's like feeding on supplements rather than food.
Yeah.
Unless you have made that supplement yourself, then it's good. But when you revise from your own note, when you're revising, you will realize that you will be revising your own notes much faster than, say, purchased notes.
How was your ranks in the mock exams you gave?
It would fluctuate between, say, 400 and 2000, 2500, like that. So that's kind of expected when you have a lot of weak areas. If more questions come from those areas, your rank would automatically drop. Because there are a lot of students who have finished all their subjects and writing the exam with you. So their ranks would be more or less constant and yours would fluctuate. That phase would last as long as you would finish all your subjects and start your revisions. So by February, I was getting in 500. By March, I would get in top 500 at least every time. That was when I had finished all my subjects reading one. I hadn't done any revisions, but I had finished all my subjects by the end of March. So by then I would get a rank of in the top 500, like that. So as I started revising, as I did 1-2 revisions, by May and June, my rank started appearing in the top 100. So that is where I feel every aspirant should be aiming at. You should reach the top 100 at least if you are aiming for branches like radiology or medicine, pediatrics, dermat. Those branches you will require in that kind of range. For the surgical subjects, slightly lesser than that. But still, when you are doing the exam, you should aim for the top. On the exam day, maybe you can lose a few ranks, but when you are studying, you should not compromise with anything. That's always what I believe in. So gradually your ranks will improve as you do more and more revisions. It won't happen overnight. It's a long-term process.
How did you go about writing the exam? Any tips? Like I have heard from somewhere, like it's not possible to know everything among the answers. So the good strategy is to eliminate options for questions and find your answers. So, what are some tips you would like to give about writing the exam for the aspirants?
Yes, this is a very important thing. So, as you said, it's not possible to know the correct answer to all the questions because the exam setter, the question setter is of a much higher knowledge than us. No matter how much you study, whatever you do, you can't reach his level because he has that much experience and that much knowledge, and he would have published 100 papers by now. So, you have to do whatever is within your limits. So, I would say when you are fully prepared in an ideal exam, you would know 100, 120 to 130 questions at best. Be right one option. Maximum. That is for a topper, I would say. And beyond that, you have to do your guessing game. So the thing is, you have to get better at this guessing game. That would come only by practice. You have to give so many tests, so many MCQs, modules, whatever you can. So that is why I say more than reading as much as you can, practice is more important. So as you keep practicing, you will learn that art of guessing. So I believe a medical entrance exam, an MCQ exam, it's more about identifying which options are wrong out of those four. Identifying it's more of a game of identifying three wrong options than the one correct options most of the time. So when you read a question, at the first go, you may not know the answer to it, but then you go through the options, then you analyze, then you will be able to identify at least, okay, this one is definitely not the answer. This one is out. Then you think more and more, whatever knowledge you have, bring it into the question, and then if you can eliminate one more, then very well you can go ahead and attempt that question because you have a 50% odds of getting it right. I would say even if you have a 33% or if you eliminate one option for a +1 -1 by 3 exam, you can attempt that question. Because when you do the math, you will be gaining marks, even if you're blind guessing, if you have eliminated one option, that is.
How many questions should we attempt? Anything like that for to get a rank?
There, you can't pinpoint to one number as such because it depends on the difficulty of the paper. So I would say to get a top branch, I think you should attempt around 95% of the questions. In a 200 exam, 200 question exam, that would come to 190. So that's what I was trying. In this July session, I had attempted all the 200 because, see, that was my thing. Yeah, I was able to eliminate one option in almost all the questions. So whenever I was able to do that, I went for marking that question. There was in INICET, there is no point of playing it safe, playing a defensive game. That's what I felt because either you are in the top 100 or you are out of the race. Rank of 300 and the rank of 3000 doesn't matter for me. So you have to go for it or you have to be out of the race. That's the thing. So attempt as many as you can. If you can attempt eliminate two options, then you have to attempt it. If you're not attempting it just out of your fear of getting a negative, then you're not doing justice to yourself. Even if you're blindly guessing, say for example, you guess some 30 questions, you eliminated one option in each, so you have a 1/3 odds of getting it right. So you should get 10 right and 20 wrong if you go by probability. So even then it's +10 and -6.6, I guess. So you would be gaining marks.
So, did you plan your studies? How did you go about planning? Did you make a timetable like I will for do these many things today? I have to complete like that. Yeah.
Obviously. So having a plan and having deadlines and respecting those deadlines is the most important thing. Don't just go with the flow because eventually you will be a little more lax and you will relax whenever you feel like it. And in the end, when the exam day comes, you will feel, oh no, I haven't done all the subjects. I am not fully prepared. So I had made out a plan from, I think I started preparing from the second week of January or something. So from Jan 7th or 8th or something, I wrote on this date, I'll do this, on the next day, I'll do this. I was more of preparing in an integrated manner. Like in the beginning, I didn't study the subjects just like that. So when I'm doing CVS, I would do CVS embryological aspects, then the anatomy, then the physiology, then I would go for the pathology, pharmacology, medicine, like that I did. So wherever integration was possible, I did in that manner so that I would be able to correlate things, and that's what the exam also demands. So they'll be giving one scenario. You might be required to correlate different subjects. They might be asking for a physiological aspect in a serious question. They might be just asking they'll give you a heart failure patient and they'll ask you to calculate cardiac output, for example. So those kind of questions. So you need to integrate. So for topics like CVS, RS, CNS, that's what I did. So I had a plan. So as per that plan, I would finish reading by the first week of April, and after that it was all revision. And I did my best to respect those deadlines. That's a very important aspect of preparing for any competitive exam. You have to keep deadlines, and even if you don't cover everything that you expected to cover within that deadline, even if you had covered around 90%, that's good enough. Don't read that thing again. Go to the next thing. Because at the end of the day, knowing something about everything is more important than knowing everything about something. If you don't have deadlines, you will have that knowing everything about something approach. So that is something we should avoid.
Now, for a student who has not worked for any conceptual understanding during the MBBS year, only like aimed at passing the university exams, now has started internship and wants to crack NEET. Is it possible for such students, or an internship clearing of entrance exams is only for those who have like consistently prepared throughout the previous years only?
It kind of depends on how much each person can handle. One thing you have to know is all your competitors have been preparing day in, day out. So to get above them, you need to do something really special. So I wouldn't say it's impossible that a person who has just studied for just passing all the exams, it will be incredibly difficult, I would say, to clear it during your internship itself, because there would obviously be a lot of students who have been say preparing for entrances right from their third year or fourth year. So to getting ahead of them is humanly very difficult. For such a student, I would suggest give yourself some time. Don't pressurize yourself too much to clear it in the first go itself. Build your concepts with time. You can use Maro or Dance or any resource. Watch the videos, because for a student who's already in internship, I wouldn't suggest reading standard textbooks, because that would take a lot of time. So you can just go to the videos, listen them, take your time, understand the concepts, and then need not pressurize yourself too much. Maybe you can do it in 2 or 3. It's not the most important thing in the world, I feel, clearing the entrance in the first go itself. Because see, even if you lose 6 months, when you see the long term, when you reach your career, it's not going to matter when did you start your PG. No patient is going to ask you how many attempts did you give in your entrance exam. So if you feel you are lacking, you can kind of give yourself time, understand things, and then get yourself exam ready.
Next question is, which are the most volatile subjects according to you for entrance preparation?
I believe that is variable. I can give what was for me. Yeah. But don't take it as gold standard advice, because each person has their own interest, their own likings and all. For me, I would say number one is definitely PSM, because I didn't study much during my third year, Optal and ENT as well. And those subjects I did from Kurana and Dhingra. Those were the books I did. I won't say those books are bad, because so that thing was there. I had forgotten everything after my exam, so I had to keep revising them again and again. So that thing didn't happen for subjects like medicine or pathology or even obs and gynae, because we had a very good department in JIPMA who taught us very aggressively. I would say almost to the level of spoon feeding they had taught us. So we had everything in our heads. So whenever something is volatile for you, you have to keep revising it again and again. There's no other way to.
Did you face any tough time during your preparation when you felt really down and all? So how did you get back up?
I believe that's there for every aspirant. The journey is incredibly tough. It's full of gutters and all those things. So as I said, I had made a plan. By this time, I would complete all these subjects. I would finish all the subjects and I would start revising. So it's natural for someone to expect their ranks to be improving in a certain predetermined manner as well. So in the initial days, that didn't happen for me. It kept stagnating around 500, 400 like that. And only a few more weeks were left for the exam. So I was kind of a bit worried and I was like, I'm not going to make it this time. Let's see what happens. So thankfully the exams got postponed. It was kind of a blessing in disguise. Even though I was not very much fond of all these postponements, I just wanted to get the exam done with. But eventually it ended up as a blessing in disguise. So I was able to do more revisions because of the postponements. So the thing is, just keep believing in yourself. There will be bad times. It happens to every aspirant. Just stick to the plan. Keep revising. Keep practicing. Yeah, in the end, it will improve because that is what every single aspirant is doing.
Any mistake you made during your preparation that you want the future aspirants not to make?
Sometimes I felt I spent a little too much time on books or maybe reading than what is ideal for a hardcore aspirant because they would spend more time with maybe more than what I did with MCQs or videos or just these specific things. As you near the exam date, become more and more specific in what you read and what you revise.
Okay, which specialty are you planning to take? Have you made the decision? Which college and all?
Obviously, this is the INICET, so it would be a central institute. So, with my, I am more of a medicine guy than of a surgery guy. So, obviously, the options are medicine and pediatrics. Radio, no, because I want to be directly interacting with the patient. So, that is the thing. So, it would be mostly restricted to medicine and pediatrics. So I'm still in the process of deciding what to choose among these. I am talking to a lot of people. So in the coming days, maybe I would come to a decision. And the college, definitely I'll, because of the institute quota, I would get in JIPMER. So I would see if I can get in AIIMS Delhi, which is highly unlikely with my rank. But I'll still put that in my just for that one rare wild possibility, and of course PGI also I would be putting. But I would be happy whichever college I'd get out of these three.
Okay, so the last question for today: what's your closing message to all of our viewers?
So that would be believe in yourself. It's not impossible. Wherever you stand today, it's never too late. You can start preparing. The entrance exams, yes, they are tough, but it's doable. So make a plan, stick to it, believe in yourself. It's possible. There are other videos on this thing. Maro student had posted his video on how he came from rank of 1 lakh to rank of 1000 and then to rank 10. So I had also watched that video. It's very much it was very inspiring. So I'd suggest everyone to watch that as well. Whoever feels you are lagging behind the others, you don't have that much knowledge and all, I would suggest watching that video as well. That's it. During your MBBS years, I would say don't stress yourself too much. Do more of a wholesome study. Build your concepts gradually. Don't hurry too much. Don't be in that kind of I'm in a race mentality. Just take your time. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the subjects. And entrance exams towards your later from internship, even if you start during your internship, that is good enough. So it's quite possible you can achieve your dreams regardless of where you stand today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Midun. It was a really wonderful interview, a lot of insights for all of our aspirants, and thank you all of you for watching. And we wish you, Dr. Midun, all the best in your career and your future, and we hope you do wonderful. Thank you again. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.